Anthony Bourdain is our generation's greatest philosopher. I would even consider him my favorite teacher. I grew up watching him through No Reservations and later Parts Unknown, and every single one of his stories inspired me to travel. This year marks the 3rd year of his passing, and this past weekend was the release of Roadrunner, a film about Anthony Bourdain. Rather than critiquing the ethics of utilizing AI or deepfake, today I want to express my sincere gratitude to a man whose whole life revolved around connections through food. He has taught me so many lessons on not only travel but on life, and I want to provide you with the top 3 most inspirational quotes that he has left behind for us and how it has continued to play a daily part in all of my travels. His first quote that I would like to share with you all is, "If I'm an advocate for anything, it's to move. As far as you can, as much as you can, across the ocean or simply across the river. Walk in someone else's shoes or at least eat their food. It's a plus for everybody." For those of you who haven't yet taken that first leap to move abroad, I think this quote really speaks to that. For me, my first time abroad was living in Santiago, Chile. Next, moving to Georgia was a huge leap. I didn't know anything about the country. I did not speak Georgian. I barely had even known it was a country on its own. And it led me down to this path of international education in which I have been pursuing since 2011. Take that leap. Make a move, even if it's not even that far. But learning about someone else's life in a different way can be so fulfilling and literally can change your life. It's also important to take risks in what you do in life. And Anthony Bourdain is no stranger to taking risks, both in his conversations with people and with the networks that he was working with.
In Thailand, pig reigns supreme. So most of the stuff we're eating here is made out of pig.
Okay, so what did you order?
Grilled pigtail.
That sounds superb. Yeah.
Yep. And then we ordered some saiwa, northern Thai herbal pork sausage.
Oh yeah, I'm on that.
Brain, some pig's brain.
So his second quote reads as, "Without experimentation, a willingness to ask questions and try new things, we shall surely become static, repetitive, and moribund." One of the biggest examples of this is when I flew out to another continent for a job interview I didn't even have. There was a time when I was unemployed. Today we're going to talk about fitness. So when you're unemployed, the last thing that you would like to do is go outside and show your face. You just have to suck in your gut, roll your shoulders back, and breathe. The other thing I was going to mention about fitness is you'll find that you'll want to eat more. I've been eating a lot more lately, and I feel that it's a very bad decision when you're unemployed. I was probably 3 months in without a job at this point and was extremely desperate to get any kind of position. I found one that was actually pretty great for me. It was an admissions counselor for a boot camp located in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I filled out the job application, I submitted it, and I contacted the HR representative connected to that application on LinkedIn. So I messaged her and basically said, "Hi, hiring manager. I applied for this position in Amsterdam. Both the role and the company look very exciting. I will be in Amsterdam next week and understand that you are hosting the open house event. Would you have time available during the event or any time next week to chat? Wasn't even in Europe at the time. But I just thought, you know what? If she says yes, I'm going to book my tickets anyway. She replied back to me saying, absolutely, I would love to chat. I took that as a green light to go ahead and buy a flight to Europe without even having a really secure job. I met up with some friends there. It was my first time actually visiting Amsterdam, so I took a full week to actually explore the surrounding areas to see if living there would be something that's right for me. I went to the open house. At the check-in table, I showed up and I said, "Hi, my name's Monica, remember?" And she gave me this blank stare. Super embarrassed, I just acted like I was just a participant interested in attending this coding boot camp. So I asked questions during the presentation, and afterwards we were having pizza, and I finally had the chance to speak with the HR representative. She had no idea I was an American, and she basically was like, "I'm so sorry, we will not be able to sponsor your visa for this opportunity. Sorry." Now, do I regret going on that trip? Absolutely not. I mean, it was a great opportunity to go to Amsterdam. I got to see some friends out there, and whatever. It was an international job interview that I kind of created all on my own. So don't just follow the norms all the time. You know, honestly, when I travel, I am more likely to be a bit more spontaneous. I just feel like the environment pushes you to get out of your comfort zone when you're living in another country. You're having to learn a new language, you're gonna have to get from point A to point B, and taking risks and experimenting are all part of the process. So this story about Amsterdam leads me to the final quote that I wanna share with you all. Travel isn't always pretty. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts, it even breaks your heart. But that's okay. The journey changes you. It should change you. It leaves marks on your memory, on your consciousness, on your heart, and on your body. You take something with you. Hopefully, you leave something good behind. So this really ties in with the last quote, basically, of experimenting and taking risks. But through those risks, through not just going through a travel agency, not just going to museums and tourist attractions, you are going away from the well-beaten path. And that's the way I love to travel, and that's the way that Anthony used to do it as well. He would never settle for just mainstream restaurants and locations. He wanted to get the real understanding of the culture and the people living within it. The best example that I have is literally walking down an unbeaten path in Argentina. In the end, I was held at gunpoint, but I did get away. It was not pretty. It wasn't great. Honestly, it was pretty mortifying and traumatizing at the same time. So not all travel is going to be perfect. Honestly, I'd rather seek more adventure than have a guided tour where you're only getting the baseline, very superficial view of that country. This world is incredibly nuanced with different cultures, languages, politics, history. We are not meant to understand everything in life, and that is what Anthony Bourdain has really fundamentally taught me. This world is massive, and the more I travel, the less I know. So I hope this video has inspired you to be a bit more Bourdain-like.
That's like a horror movie. It's like CSI soup. I'm eating out of an open wound. Actually, that's completely delicious.
Utterly delicious.